Set at 101.9 FM, 90.9 cable, CFRC.ca on the net. I'm your host, Wayne Vermett, with you for the next hour up until 8 o'clock. I have a guest in the studio. Tyler Forks is sitting across from me in the Studio A, and we're going to talk about himself and his music. And you just heard that song that he wrote. In fact, he wrote them all on his latest album, and it's self-titled Tyler Forks. And he does the lead vocals, and he has Ed Ham with him. He has, well, he'll tell you who we got. Laren Fernandez, Keith D'Souza, and Adriana Lustenberg. Back on. I can get there close there. You're on there. Thank you very much, and welcome to the program, Tyler.
Thanks very much, Wayne. It's great to be here on the Blues Project.
Well, it's about time, because the one thing I remember, you gave me, this is going back, could be the 80s, could be the 90s, cassette.
That's right.
And it hung around, and it was here, and I think it was on my personal collection, and I brought it in, and I said, I remember this. I've never met you face to face. But anyways, I said, I'm going to play his music, and I played it that night, and you and I hadn't ever talked, I don't think. But coincidentally, you called and said, I'm here. How you doing?
That's right.
And you were a young man then. You're pretty young now, but still.
Oh, thanks, Wayne. Yeah, that was in the late 80s. And yeah, I was doing blues. I had played in a blues band while I was going to Queens as a student, and shortly after that. And those were the first songs that I had written that were sort of in that genre. And they were all blues at the time, and you were kind enough to play a couple of tracks back at that time, and much appreciated.
You're good. I think so. I like your songwriting. I like this album. I got to ask you, though, it looks like you're into quilts and panthers.
Well, the cover of the album is what Wayne's referring to, and actually it's an original oil painting that my son did. He's an artist. Right. And it's of one of those vintage TV lamps that they had in the 50s with the big funky red shade. So rather than have my mug on the front of that, because everyone I know reminds me that I have a really good face for radio, we decided to let my son do some artwork.
I haven't had that one yet, but I like it. Tell me a little bit about your Kingston background. When you were going to university, how you began in music and that kind of thing. Yeah,
well, I was born in Kingston and went to Queens here as a student, and was quite into the blues at that time, and blues harp was what I played. I remember picking up the instrument in high school and just loving the sound of it, and getting started by repeatedly putting the dial back on my Big Brother's Muddy Waters album and trying to learn the harp parts, and doing that over and over, and finally felt I had the chops enough to start playing out, and got involved with a band we called the Blues Shadows at that time. And Queens had a Battle of the Bands contest, and we were fortunate enough to be finalists, and ended up getting some gigs around town, at both on campus and other places, including what was then the Terrapin Tavern, which is now the Toucan.
Okay, yeah.
So we played around a little bit, blues, and then after graduation, people kind of went their separate ways. I began to get more into acoustic guitar and that kind of writing, and I guess slowly my tastes shifted a bit, and I guess mainly what I'm doing now I call sort of alternative country rock. So I'm not really a country guy. I don't listen to country radio very much, but it's, I think, the sum of all the influences that I listen to. It kind of comes out with that feel, although there's still some blues, and I think one of the tracks you're going to play shortly has more of that flavor in it.
Well, I can hear it, the country part of it, and in fact, in that Cottage Country, it's a twangy thing. It's a country bass, isn't it?
Yeah.
And I like that. But anyway, as far as your background musically, I didn't know you could play the harp and the guitar.
Yeah, well, I started off at Queens when I was a student. I had never even picked up the guitar at that point, so I was just playing all the harmonica stuff, and it was, I guess, toward the end of my time as a student, I started to teach myself guitar and learn that kind of thing. So that's what I'm doing now, and when I play out at festivals and pubs and things in Toronto where I live now, I'm doing a solo thing with acoustic guitar, 6 and 12 string, and really focusing on all the songs that I've been writing the original tunes.
Do you think you'll ever focus on blues? Will there be an album? I mean, who knows, that kind of thing? Or?
Well, it was interesting. You mentioned that cassette, and actually found it cleaning the basement last week, and my kids and I, we were driving down to Kingston last night, plugged it in, and we were listening to it, and I think some of the songs still hold up, and there was a suggestion that I may want to re-record some of those because I think I've developed a little bit more vocally and with my guitar skills, and maybe bring in some other folks to revisit some of those tunes down the line, because I continue to be a big fan of the blues, and I bring the harps out every now and then. There are a number of jams around the Toronto area that I go to here and there, and that's what I do when I visit those. It's easy to sit in doing some blues harp, so I kind of try and keep that going.
Yeah, good for you, because I like it. I like your vocals are good as well, and I'm sure are you beginning a musical career, or are you doing anything like that? I know you've got a day job.
Yeah, get a day job. That's in a family, right? So all those things, that's the tough part. And I remember I went to an industry event not long ago when the gentleman was talking about music and the music business, and he said, remember, we've got music, and he spread his arms very far apart, and then we said, we've got the music business, and he put them very close together. And he said, it's a very niche part of music, and you do what you can. So, I'm really pleased with the response that I've been getting to the songs. The Facebook site that I have, Tyler Fort, singer-songwriter, a lot of people have joined that, so they're hearing about things, and there are links to some YouTube songs. And that's the way people can access if they're interested in the album, is to contact me through that site on Facebook. So that's been really great. We're getting some radio airplay. Cottage Country actually next week is getting picked up on the East Coast. And so things like that are starting to happen. So it's pretty fun to take something that was a passion and see people relating to it and appreciating it.